moment ago to make sure that you had all received my email from earlier today. And that included the handout that we will be looking at this evening.
I got it. Yep, I'm good.
Okay, fantastic. So this is recorded as transfer number 3 for fiscal year 23, which means that we have already taken action on the 2 previous end of year transfers. And I believe the entire finance committee has seen this type of a schedule before from me. So what you'll see on the left-hand side are the amounts from the accounts where there are surpluses. And then on the right-hand side are the accounts where there are deficits. And so what we are doing is moving the money from the accounts listed on the left-hand side to the accounts listed on the right-hand side. So with that being said, what I'd like to do is just walk through the transfers. First, you'll notice that there's 2 charts. There's a larger chart at the top and a smaller chart at the bottom. The larger chart at the top has a subtotal of $137,380. Those are transfers from the general fund, or I should say within the general fund. Below that is a $6,500 transfer in the trash enterprise fund. So I'll start with trash first. What we are asking to do is to move $6,500 from trash expenses up to trash salaries to cover a deficit in the trash enterprise fund for salaries only. In previous years, we had utilized some senior work-off folks to cover some shifts over at the recycling center. And since COVID, we have been backing off on that, and we have been having paid employees there instead of senior work-off. So we were slightly under budget there, and that's what that transfer is. If I jump back up to the top, to the general fund, I'll walk through these pretty quickly. Administrative assistant in the veterans office. We have a person who is now working some additional hours in order to provide services and outreach to our veterans. And this is to cover a deficit in the salary line for that person. Next one, treasurer collector. There was a deficit in the professional services line due to expenses for printing our tax bills and utility bills outside via a third party. We incurred some expenses to do the design and setup of those bill forms working with the vendor. The next one is the $30,000 within the fire department. This is to cover the vacation payout that was paid to the fire chief upon his retirement. And there is sufficient funding in the fire department's expense budget to cover the payout in the salary line. So we're moving from expenses to salary for FY23. Small overage in the parks department with some slight labor costs under $100 there. Next one is snow and ice. Snow and ice, we did not have a deficit. We did not need to request deficit spending. But what we did have is an overage in the overtime line. So we used more in-house staff than we did contractors this year. But there is sufficient funding in the expense line to be moved up to cover that. So it's just within the existing department. Next 2 are for collective bargaining calculations. There were some errors within the calculation of the collective bargaining agreement. And we need to increase the funding in the planning department as well as the plumbing department to cover some year-end payroll. Medicare. Medicare does have a $13,000 appropriation left as of let's see, June 27th. But we still have a couple more days left in the fiscal year for payroll. And so I'm asking for some additional funding to go into the Medicare line in the event that we need that. I'm not fully aware whether there need to be any additional larger payouts for retirements or other things across town or school departments. So this is more of an insurance policy just to make sure we have sufficient funding in Medicare to get us through the end of the year. And then the last one, which is the biggest of the transfers, is $58,000 for police overtime. I did have the police chief join the select board meeting earlier today. So the select board took these transfers up at noon this afternoon and voted unanimously to support them. And at that time, the police chief joined us and described the situation. And basically what happened, and I'll paraphrase, during FY23, we had a number of moving parts within the police department, not the least of which was a number of vacant positions for which we had done some recruiting, and we had a number of recruits in the academy. When we have recruits in the academy, they are employees of the town of Bellingham, and therefore they are drawing a salary. However, we do not have those bodies, those staff members here to be out on the street. So what we're doing is we're covering those shifts with overtime while those folks are completing the academy. In addition, we also have the situation where there's a lot of folks who are using their vacation time, and in doing so, we have to cover those shifts with overtime. So we had a little bit of a deficit in the police department this year as we work to get full staff on board, and those folks finishing up in the academy and managing the vacations that are happening that are resulting in overtime covering those shifts. So in order to cover this deficit, in order to cover payroll, I should say, for the police department, they are in need of an additional $58,000. Let me, before somebody asked the question, yes, there was a payout to the police chief for his accrued vacation time as well. However, we did not charge that vacation buyout to the operating budget for the police department. We actually charged that to our reserve fund for compensated absences. So the impact here for overtime is exclusive of the payout to the police chief. Whew. All that being said, are there any questions?
No questions.
Yeah, so the amounts being transferred are for the 58,000 for the police overtime include the 5,000, the 724 on down, correct?
Exactly. That is correct. Yes, Brian.
Okay.
So there is a motion printed in the upper right-hand corner of that schedule. That's the wording.
So is that correct? A recommendation and not an approval?
It's an approval. We can change the word recommend to approve. So John, we were actually just, I think that now I see why you're asking. We were talking about that while you were connecting, and it is in fact that the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen are approving these transfers because these do not go to town meeting and get town meeting approval.
Right. Right. That's my point. I just wanted to make sure that we were properly authorizing the transfers and not missing something. So should the motion be motion to approve the transfers of $137,380 and $6,500 as presented?
Exactly.
So
Okay.
moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The transfers as presented are approved. 5-0.
Excellent. Thank you. Now, before I let you go, two things. So John, I will need at some point for you to come in and put a signature on this, or if you want to do it electronically, I'm happy to scan this in. You can sign it and scan it back to me.
Yeah, I don't have scanning ability at home, so I'll have to come
Okay.
in. I'll have to come in tomorrow to sign.
Perfect. Perfect. Then it will be in my office. That sounds great. Now, the second question.
So I'll go downstairs to your office to sign.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it. So the question was asked earlier is of me whether this would be the final set of transfers for FY23. And my response to the select board is, I hope so. However, I will let you know what I let them know. We have had an issue with electricity this year, and one of our solar vendors from whom we purchase net metering credits, this happens to be the array located up by the Stallbrook School. They have had some billing issues with Eversource that originated about 10 months ago, and we have been working diligently for 10 months trying to get this corrected. And I finally have received all of the paperwork that we have been looking for. So I'm trying to go through that and make sure that there are no issues with electricity. So if there are, I may need to call another quick finance committee meeting via Zoom. But I am hoping that it all works out and that this will be our final set of transfers.
So for that meeting, my question is, do we have to post it with a certain period of time in advance?
You would need a 48-hour notice.
So
Yes.
why don't, so Tina, can you post one tomorrow for what, Monday night at 5:30? If we don't need it, we'll cancel it. Does that work for you, Mary?
It depends on how quickly I can hear back from the electricity vendor, because I have some questions for him. Can I suggest this? The select board, and speaking with them, they already have a pre-scheduled meeting for the 17th of July. That is their next regularly scheduled meeting. Would you guys be available to, if we had to, do a finance committee meeting at 5:30 that day, which is a Monday?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we plan on that? Let's post for the 17th, and if
Okay.
we can cancel, then I will let you know.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right.
Perfect. That's
Tina,
it
do you-
for me.
Okay, thank you. Tina, do you have a bill for June, or did we do that already?
We already did June. I just have minutes.
Okay,
And I do want to just make a quick announcement. I think most of you, hopefully all of you have heard by now, but I am leaving the town of Bellingham, and Friday is my last day here full time.
sorry to hear that.
So I want to say thank you all very much. It has been an absolute joy to get to know you and to work with you over the past 5 years. And I am going to be very sad to leave this place, but I wanted to have an opportunity to say thank you all very much.
Goes
Yeah,
double
but-
on this end.
Do we have
Thank-
somebody who's coming in?
So at this time, the town is opening a professional search. So they are going to be doing a professional search for the town administrator as well as for the CFO. So there is not somebody readily available at this time. I will let you know that I am going to stick around for in a part-time capacity after hours to close the books and to deal with any year-end issues. So you may still see me on the mail waves, but I won't physically be here in town hall.
Well, sorry to see you go, Mary.
Oh, Mary, we hardly knew you.
God. You finally brought some balance to the office, you know?
Hmm.
You have no idea how good it was to have you here.
Yes, it was much more than balanced. Yeah,
Thank you. I
balanced is
appreciate
one way to
it.
say it, but
Mary, is there any chance you might reconsider?
I don't think so, John.
You're
It's
muted.
it's been a very tough decision. I love this community. I love my job here. But there's some extenuating circumstances.
Well, if you do reconsider, I think everybody on this call would support you.
That's correct.
That
Stranger
was
things have
unanimous.
happened around here.
That was unanimous. Sleep on it over the weekend.
Boy, this has been a tough year for personnel.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Okay, Mary, if I get a chance, I'll swing by and see you tomorrow because I'm gonna be gone Friday.
It would be great, Joe.
I
All
did,
right.
I did stop by today to see you, but you were stuck in a meeting.
I was doing these transfers with the select board, John.
Oh, gee. Bad timing on my part.
Yeah.
All right, so if there's no other business, I'll move to adjourn.
I had the minutes. I emailed everybody again from May
Yep.
24th.
Move that we accept the minutes?
Yeah, do we have to accept those? Or did we already do that, John?
No. No, she just sent them out to us.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Any other business?
No,
Motion to adjourn at 5:49 PM.
Sounds good.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 5:49 PM. Thank you.
Thank you.